All right, welcome back to Spirit Squared. I'm Andrew Darrington, your host. Tonight we come to you from the Beckham Hotel here in Mineola, Texas. You just missed the train that just passed by. We've got some great content that we're going to cover tonight. We've got Josh Dollar on the cameras tonight. Thanks so much for filling in, Josh. Really appreciate it. Miss you, Pogue. Wish you were here. Understand you got stuff going on. This is episode 6. We've got a great guest tonight. We've got Mr. Rudy Wright from Wright Waste Services. He's going to talk to us about solar panels. I know we have a lot of viewers and folks that are on our page that were very interested in what you do. You're one of the first 1,000 solar installers in North America to get certified. Saw that on your webpage. So that's one distinction that you guys have.
Yeah, NABCEP is the certification we're talking about there. It's a nice acronym for the North American Board of Certified Energy Practitioners.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah, mouthful. But
Yes.
back in the day, there was only one test on the level, and they literally gave you a pencil that said the test that's hard to pass. It was interesting.
Right. Before we get started, we have made a pour of Weller Foolproof. I'm spoiling you tonight.
It's the best thing I've ever had.
So Weller Foolproof, it comes in at 125 or 120, 114, I'm sorry. 114 proof. It's super yummy. It's a weeded bourbon. I knew that you would enjoy that. I just wanted to make sure that folks knew what we were drinking.
Yes, sir.
So-
Thank you so much for
Yeah. So talk to me about the opening days of your solar career. What got you started in it? What got you motivated to doing that?
Yeah, it's a fun story. I mean, we started doing more new construction in the early aughts. And by '08, I had a couple houses that I had green rated, and the green rater wrote me a letter of how impressed he was with how efficient the house was. And this was really kind of like the first time I tried to pick swinging building green. And so I was kind of excited by that. And then my parents wanted us to help them get a house done. And so I really wanted to build them a neat big green pole. We scored a 64 on our first house we had tested. So we'd shaved 36% of the air heat just from the tweaks we did and how we put it together.
What kind of tweaks did you make to make it green?
Well, there's not any one silver bullet, but some of the key words are like advanced framing on a 2x6 wall system.
Yeah.
So by doing advanced framing, we use a lot less lumber to show the 2x6 that it doesn't cost me more. But by being 2x6, I can get that for insulation. And that's a real big deal. And then you can cut some of the air conditioning in half in many cases.
Right.
Balanced airflow, and ample other, steps fed it way down, but you're still, need energy. And so back then, I first looked at solar in '08 when I was pre-planned for my parents' house. I was doing $10, $11, $12 a watt systems, and really couldn't get anybody on the phone to talk about it. That's what you can see online. That was how the going rate. And panels were $3.50 to $5 a watt, depending on what kind of panel you tried to buy when you bought it. And so most anybody would have a very small 2,000 or 4,000 watt system. And on my parents' house, we designed it with I want to say it was like 2,900 watt system. And in 2009, we built the house out, and I started doing all my studying. In order to even participate in the Encore incentive program, which was another key kickoff, right about the time I was going to do the solar for my parents, my energy rater came to. It was like, hey, I get Encore, else you can do all these energy ratings all around. I'm like, yeah, well, there's not a program coming. It's on, hey, like, the river bill was like $2 a watt for solar. And it ended up the very first incentive they offered was $2.46 a watt for solar. So if you did a 10 kW system with the max size they would play with, they would pay $24,600 towards your solar.
Wow.
Now, that would in time, a 10 kW on group would have probably been $80,000. And now we're selling a 10 kW for $246 a watt sometimes. It's all done before any incentives or anything else to apply.
Right.
So it's really been an exciting ride. But that first system, we ended up at about $9 a watt to do that little system. and a real steep roof. But by having just that 3,000 watts of solar and then really going a little overboard on some of the green techniques, so going an extra inch on spray foam, but I got this one actually Emerald certified green built and came in at a -2 on the measuring.
Wow.
So, you know, getting the net zero status on the roof was definitely exciting. But yeah, you know, that kind of got us kicked off into wanting to study it. It was a really big educational transition to go from, you know, being a grid type system where, you know, it has what's going to better mouth right and just plug it together and look it up and it works. And, you know, for the most part, you've got a system almost 20 years old, the machine great and back on that house is still going.
Is it producing the same type of kilowatts?
I haven't, those old systems aren't monitoring, so I haven't really got access to enough data to declare how much the degradation of what we would call it.
Yeah, sure.
But we do have a tester now because after 15 years, I started having some panels, and the first handful were other people were hired somebody else, but panels were bad. And we started able to try to test them, diagnose them, and the manufacturers, they don't only give you another panel unless you're irrevocably, or that's a word, they're in your word that I'll use, but some point. But unless you very clearly prove that it's bad, and so the easiest way to do that requires $6,000 to $10,000 tester, depending on which end of the spectrum you're testing. But once we started noticing, you know, panel players who went to the, you know, the best ability to diagnose and fix them. Thankfully, it's still been very few and far between. You know, in the last 5 years, we probably handled maybe 100 veil panels, and all of those had to lightning or, you know, some other. Yeah, we had some hail, like at our first hail in this last hailstorm.
Really?
Yeah, we literally back almost 20 years with never had a break hail. Yeah, and the one in Jacksonville just 4 months ago. So it took out about 23 hails on a handful of systems in there. And,
Right.
But yeah, so when we did that first system, it was I actually imported by trainer when I already started to take a trainer, but I'd only been to a couple of weeks in a solar school of the world. But so the lady that was teaching the class, I heard about the different one. The most all we did, and I was telling them that I could have done better, did wrong. She was real aggressive. We've had to come on boy, does this friendship, you know, respect.
That's awesome.
But it was really important to have, you know, skilled folks that he would, you know, call and pick their brain because, you know, the design, the interaction, you know, so many of these systems that he worked on are just along with done right. But yeah, so 2008-9, you know, we got everything moving, and it was it's at $9 a watt this time, the going rate, and we started chiseling it down. We got at $7 a watt. And like I said, this point we've been able to chisel all the way down to 246.
So when you're talking about watts, just so that I understand, you're building the panels for $9 a watt per month?
No, the way the solar is typically sold and described and end result priced for most of them. I mean, a lot of times most folks just to show them and they'll aim or get them the cigarette now.
Right, that's right.
That's really not the way we operate. We have those options. The main thing we like to show people is what are you actually paying for a watt of solar DC power we put on the roof.
Okay.
And as a general rule, if you have 10,000 watts of solar properly installed on a good, you know, roof that's facing south and not shaded, and, you know, all those things are in the right spot, you're going to get 14,000 and some change in kilowatt hours for a year out of that.
Okay.
For a flow where a month would be measured out that way.
Yeah.
But it doesn't average quite that way. It's not that easy.
You have down months.
Winters, it's not going to shake as much as summer.
Right.
But oddly enough, the middle of summer is not quite your peak in many cases. When we design for optimum year-round, we have a split difference between, you know, optimum winter would be a 45-degree tilt, or like 12 and 12 at the roof. At optimal in summer would be a 15-degree, but we'll go into a 32. That way we're, you know, just tracking and sure we'll dive into a warm, say focus on the ground, not on the angle, that you hit that middle point, you're going to get the best over the whole year.
I got you.
You're not going to peak in the summer, you'll peak in spring and fall. But the other nice thing about designing that way is in the hogs part in the summer, we actually lose a chunk of production because of how hot the panels get. I've actually had my iPhone shut off within about 10 minutes, and we'd be on the roof working on black panels in August.
Yeah.
I was like, it's too hot, I'm done. I take that to the end, I'm going to get up.
Yeah, sure.
But
So I'll re-ask the question.
Yeah.
So if you tell me that you build a panel for, let's say, $7 per kilowatt, then I'm paying $13 or I'm saying you said 7 cents a kilowatt. I'm sorry.
yeah, now, we'll see, the price I'm talking about is a price per watt of capacity in solar panels.
Okay, right.
And the measurement you're talking about is kilowatt hours.
Okay, got
And
it.
that's where a lot of people get hung up. And it's, kind of like miles per hour. It's just a measurement of how many watts over time.
Okay,
And that's why I was kind of saying, the 10 kW system, which is 10,000 watts. So, in the olden days, that was $70,000 to show a $7 watt. Now it's like 20 miles.
right. And you said it's to produce in Texas somewhere around 15.
Yeah.
A year.
Yes, 14,000 kilowatt hours a year and change.
Right.
Is what we would typically predict out of that type system. And so, yeah, if you're paying 20 cents a kilowatt hour, well, that's $2,800 a year.
Right.
And a lot of people will do quick math and go, well, it's if they can almost in the state for itself, but they're not factoring that 30% that will tax you.
Go tax.
Right. Or they factor the inflation, which historically speaking, 5% nationwide.
Yeah.
Average. We've been kind of blessed in Texas for a number of years until here lately.
Right.
But now-
I've seen some people comment on Facebook about Encore's increases in rates.
Yeah, Encore's increased their rates, and you can't get it on the open market as cheap anymore because the generation's not as cheap.
Right.
But that used to, I would normally, when I'm doing math with folks to talk about that energy, I was using 10 cents kilowatt hour as my going rate for the longest time.
Yeah.
Because most anybody paid any attention, they were paying around 10 cents. And people would just be, in heaven right now, 10 cents.
Oh, absolutely. I think most of us are paying over 13 or more. And the folks that are paying 12 or 13 are the ones that have shopped,
Yes.
plans or if you're under 13, most of the people I know have committed to 5-year commitments. Okay, I'm TXU, which is not maybe the deliverer. The deliverer is Encore, and it does their own thing.
Yeah.
But TXU only commit to you 5 years, and they cut me a gift card and this, that, and the other. It should be a telltale sign that something's going on, right?
Yeah.
They're giving you incentives, but you're tied to them for 5 years, and they may give you a frozen rate if they're 13.5, but after the 5 years, it's now renegotiation time, and then you can explore your options.
Well, where a lot of people get bit is, in that scenario, you just aimed it at that 13 cents that you're, looking at that they tell you you're paying.
Right.
That doesn't include the for delivery.
That's right.
And the taxes, all that fun.
Right.
So yeah, nowadays, if you were to take your average consumer on the outdoor market and divide their total bill by their kilowatt hours used,
Right.
there's hardly anybody that's at least paying like 16, 17 cents a kilowatt hour as an end result. Now, we can't hardly do anything about your minimum meter charge, privilege fee.
Right.
And they made it even more complex with solar. Instead of, a net meter, like in the olden days when your meter has anything in it, a true net meter, that's the thing would just go backwards when you sold power.
Right.
That'd be so expensive. But no, they have a smart meter, and they pay you a different rate than the short nets in most cases. But that's, of course, you go full well. But that little Encore delivery charge really gets a lot of folks in trouble because, they're thinking they got a great rate. Somebody else might be quoting their rate to include that, and they might be 14. And so you end up dumping on 13.6 and you get the steel, and the other guy just tell you the full price. Now, what I've seen, most of them don't quote. They will call it out if they do, let's say, include this TE charge. But yeah, you really got to watch the fine print.
Yeah, I know there's a couple of youchoose.com type of websites where you can go on and kind of shop around and some different rates. And I know there's preferred providers. We'll get into that in just a minute for solar. So when was it where your like doing your solar panels, and it's like you start seeing a trend where people are starting more and more to convert to solar, or at least adding it to their infrastructure.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, '09 and 2010 when we were first getting started, the pricing was so high, and that really limited the amount of people that had to be used to it. And the financing really wasn't there. It wasn't, you know, all these companies eager to sign near zero down.
Right.
There were some means out there that about anything meaningful. So, really the price dropping drastically from like 2010 through 20, I'd say 15, 16. The panel pricing was just, I mean, at one point, we then were early on, there wasn't a lot of options, but straight out China.
Right.
We were getting Chinese panels at like 32 cents a watt, and I was selling install systems at $1.80 at that point. And the only reason we're not, you know, I don't want to say 250 just so I don't think I wonder, is because we're selling all American. The panel price coming that far down and the install price coming that far down, really it was, you know, it's kind of a gradual increase over those years. First several years, it was, you know, $1 or $2 a month.
I was ever driving down like neighborhood. I mean, you saw somebody with solar panels, and it was weird and very odd. Now, especially in Texas, I was in Louisiana, but Texas, they're much more prevalent.
Yeah. And going black, I think they really helped as far as aesthetic. You know, the early panels, they were not near as photogenic.
Right.
You know, the latest installs were doing it. You already got there were three. They didn't disappear. And the energy tragedy of that is the panel run auto went black. You know, rings are black. We're hoping to redo our office system shortly. We're going to go gallo and not very reflective. And so we're in black panels. That's what I saw. But yeah, everybody really likes the black panels. So I think for the look and the price, yeah, like I said, it really, you know, as far as in its peak, I think, you know, the Sohocalypse really spiked batteries. And getting the city ordinance removed about 2 years ago in Tyler, as far as, you know, the competition's presence and the, you know, the hustle and bustle and lots of solar going on, was really just within the last, you know, couple of years. Interest rates stayed that low. All the solar financing companies, all the door knockers. So yeah, the latest information I've been hearing since interest rates now going up is that solar sales is down almost 8%.
Wow.
Or residential mixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much entirely to blame on, well, the blade costs steel higher. And most of our business has been, you know, word of mouth of ranchers and farmers, and, you know, most of the customers do your gathering capital or, you know, finance really was an issue. So it's the last 4 or 6 years, they kind of had to make sure we had that avenue set up and use it. But there's definitely a whole nother can of worms in the finance. Most people hear about it.
I want to get in that can of worms.
Well, the beaver fees is really the rabbit that we're not supposed to talk about. Oddly enough, the law is called the Truth in Lending Law.
Yes.
And because of the Truth in Lending Law, I'm not supposed to tell my customers it's up to you in that. I'm not supposed to sit down at the table with my customer and say, here's your financed at 3% interest, or back in the day, we got some euro or 0.99, you know, but now, you know, the cheapest I can get it down is like 3 point something. Changes almost every day. Some to put a point on it.
Yeah, sure.
But anyhow, that lowest interest rate, I can't show you that and then show you a cash deal. That's a huge fee. Because they don't want you to know that I have to pay 36% for what your total sticker price could have been to the finance total. So in order for the finance company to give you that cheap interest rate, or, you know, it's $25,000 and get in the system, I'd have to make that $25,000 just some 36% higher price. Because I don't have that kind of margins anywhere near. Right. But what's tragic is I've done a lot of installs for companies that they're offered that low interest rate back in the day, and the customer ended up paying cash. And so that company just made an extra 36% on that entire deal if the customer out they cash less than it. And the Truth in Lending Law makes it illegal. And then they go, hey, well, cash. So the way we perceived that was probably cost me some savings is my sample quotes I show people the real interest, and it's really didn't. And then once I get you on the phone, I'll explain you that how I can get you some more interest. I'm going to have to add a panel odds, and the price is either going to go, way up or a little up, depending on how low you want to go. But supposedly that's really took the heads out from underneath the newer board guys here lately, because they really can't, in good conscience, knock on somebody's door anymore and say, hey, sign here, and they're going to pay less on your solar payment than you would owe at their price. Now at my price, and you can drag the interest rate down. You're going to be a little bit negative in the first year, until you have one increase in utility rates. Concerned about year or two, you should be breaking even. And again, you're buying your own power plant versus renting your utility.
Right.
And so that's zero down. There's a little bit down, you can be ahead of the game right out of the box. But yeah, there's still guys that I come by and they're telling folks, so they're selling at $4 or $5 a watt. You go, it'll be for sale. Then, this one guy would just say, he was literally about to buy 10 kW. He had 2 massive trees right in front of his house and walking in the shade.
Yeah.
And they were charging him $7 a watt. But he was getting a Tesla Arrow, which, I really love saying Tesla. I heard a lot of people asking about them. And for the record, I don't recommend the Arrow for a handful of reasons. Two there on the, I hate to get too many rabbit holes, without answering the next question. But
Wow, that's awesome. I love the information.
well, the Tesla Powerwall, they're using the car chemistry, which is great for car. It's a little bit lighter than the chemistry that we use, that everybody else that sells a battery backup system on the market uses. But the main thing I don't like about them is they won't take a charge from the generator. They're working on it, but everybody that's at this hour consider app, they can charge it off the generator. To bring down panel coverage snow, you got 13 kilowatt hours until the test hour. And then what really chats behind is most of these guys will sell somebody will order maybe 2 if they're lucky. But these power walls that tell them, you're ready for the apocalypse. And most of these people are 100 or 200 kilowatt hour a day energy apps.
Right.
And they have 26 kilowatt hours Tesla Powerwall that they're only drained at 20 before it's going to start out.
Yeah.
You think about all
So they've got several hours.
Exactly, unless they pay attention. And then the time to knock people orders, the Powerwall is only capable of about 20 amps 240 of output.
Right.
So unless your solar is boosting, you don't even have enough air gel and power bus out here.
Right.
And most folks want AC in Texas.
Yeah, absolutely.
If the internet's down for 9 days, you're working for it. If you're off grid, you're working for it. And so, what I've found is all the big names have kitchens very similar. The Generac system, until lately, I understand that their latest offerings have fixed them, could not take a charge off their own iterator. And they still actually recommend and offer a DC outputting generator to go with their proprietary battery system. We're a Generac service rated dealer with their generators, but the only time I ever touch their power wall is if I'm working on somebody else's. It's not working.
Right.
Talk people out of it because again, the warranty void drop grid, they're so gadgety and proprietary that you are literally married if it peaks under the
Oh, you're worried. No worries.
There's a piece under the panel that's proprietary, and then there's a piece where strings come together with proprietary. And so, if you ever decided you were fed up waiting on them to get the part done or warranty this or that,
Right.
you're stuck with it. That's one of the reasons the Generacs really got a lot of lawsuits right now from a lot of drama. Their initial was called a snap and rack device. It was a rapid shutdown device to stick other government mandated safety needs. Sure. And they add up to right. And when it fails, it takes out the whole screen.
Yeah.
And so these people bought these way overpriced systems, finance zero avenue, and then within a month or two, it went working, the batteries tank, and the installer really does on service, and they're just an assembly guy. They don't know how it works. They just know positive and negative, but why let it to be filled with it, what you did.
Right.
Now, it's really hard to find the guys that really know how it works, and look at them and start to diagnose the problem without just taking it apart and praying it comes out of it.
Right. So walk us through, I want to get into the dynamics of these different types of generators. But solar system, because solar panels, because you offer a variety of different types of systems. And then we could kind of dive into which one those one. First and foremost, solar's not free, right?
I mean, it's definitely not free. The zero down is where they're twisting reality, saying free, and there's always that you look real close and small extra can,
Sure.
But yeah, there's a lot of listening marketing, and it's hard to.
So let's talk about the types of solar that you offer first, and then let's talk about like you walk in my house and what things look like as far as I know that you do research on past billing and kilowatt usage and stuff like that, but we'll walk through that in here in just a second. So you have a real grid-tied system, right? So that is where you're connecting my system to my on-core provider, and so you're connected to my meter.
I'm still on your side of the meter.
Okay.
No matter which option we go with.
Okay.
But the main way I try and describe it is the grid-tied system is fully relying on the grid.
Okay.
It is looking with the grid to set the frequency and the voltage that it's going to operate at. And if it doesn't see a frequency and voltage, it won't operate. All right. In most cases, all the inverters that we like to use, they have emergency power output. You can get a little power on the side, but it's not like a UBS. Instead of go flip the switch after the grid's down and plug in your section cord and do what you do. But
Then they do small appliances and stuff.
or you could run anything you would plug into if the sun is strong. Well, I would tell people, you're not going to make coffee at 7 a.m., but you can make coffee at 10 or 11.
Yeah, right.
But you could definitely charge your iPhone at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just relative to the sun up to 15 amps. Yeah, and the whole house allowed.
Got it.
So that's the grid tied segment, and that's really been the biggest segment until the last 2 or 3 years. Really, like I said, that apocalypse kind of started to scale heavily, and then whether it's people saving the dollar, you name it. Let's just talk about battery supplier. Again, we really focus on All America. It's a company in Ohio that picked batteries at 78. And a lady called me, was just, next week, this compare and rebuild, it's still done this year.
Wow.
On batteries alone.
Oh, it's smoked.
And it's a good quality batteries, and we built massive tanks for both. We've got one client where we rebuild the system for us out at 800 amp service. And only half of it's working right now because the guys he worked with the first time built in 2 split systems because the one big enough. The technology's come a long way. Grid tied is very simple. Well, it's grid tied, your historical usage. Look for low-hanging fruit on your house. It's just crappy, or your district's 30 years old, or down windows are single pane. So when you're grid tie level, it's typically about saving money or saving, a plan that you will block books so the indefinite narration there. And then the next segment that really is way more entailed and more challenging was when you get to in essence, we can just call it battery backup.
Right.
But there's a lot of variables in there, and they for me whether it's off-grid cable or not. So I avoid with time labeling our spectrum more off-grid capable to make sure people get that we're not just talking about picking hours off the power wall. You're picking about this stand you're covered. But for most folks, if they start asking about batteries, first thing I'm going to ask them is, well, are you like threatening to modules, or are you trying to save money? The fact that you can't have both. I mean, typically there's some Alibaba batteries right off the boat that you could get that are, unrealistically cheap. But the tech support quality and the suspected slave labor is enough for me to, I've looked a couple of them up people, but in most cases, I'm talked out several of them too, but I tell them, hey, I really don't like this year because of this and this. I will put it in, but get the hourly, but it doesn't work.
Right.
But yeah, we've had an envelope with a maple, but all of your recharging cable is stuff that's designed to literally go the distance. And it's not really any more extensive than what the other guys been charging. It's a lot more bang for your buck, a little more robust gear. But when you go from grid tied to a battery backup system, you really have to understand what your goals are. Are you just trying to keep your fridge and lights? but that's not too bad. You know, I only tell people that for about 10, 15 grand, especially if you're already with solar, depending on the size of the house, that, you know, just following round numbers, for 10, 15 grand in the battery world, you get fridge and lights. For 10, 15 grand in the generator world, you get the whole thing house there, really shouldn't need. And if you only go 10 or 15 grand in a battery, it makes you better at a generator because you ain't got less battery per battery. And if you don't have 25 extra grand with your solar, you know, it's better to invest in your grid tie. Right. And circle back to the batteries with the technology there or your budget's there. So do a size system that's like the score easier or this you off.
Right.
Because that's really, you know, we get anywhere from 3 to 5 service calls a week from other people, you know, in buy very little solar and just need banding hole. Of them, about 50% are just confused that don't have a clue how their system works. They ever got what they explained to it. And, you know, I try and solve about 50% of those on the phone. The last thing I want to do is have somebody out at 10 hourly rate come out, you know, spend 40 minutes with its old basics. You know, drive obviously was just for me, it was 60 days.
Right.
But, you know, oftentimes I can get a talking lecture and keep things they understand they got some of the problem we're thrilled that I say, you know, we're put $1 for 8 tonight and you have to look at it first. Sure. But, you know, the reading here, you know, knowing what to look for on the inverter as far as the leaky lights or, you know, and that's the most frustrating thing with a lot of these door guys is the gear they like to sell. I call it all our gear because it's all plastic with this really
Serious choice.
yeah, and they have no screen on. So there's literally nothing. And then even the blinky lights that they have, they're like, what way up there? And if you don't hold your head just the right angle, you're not even going to see the old blinky light. And okay, yeah, there's a blinky light. Yeah. No, and yeah, it's sad that how many people end up getting signed up and then have that opportunity. And a lot of the guys kind of pray like you, oh, it's church of more car really got signed in that. I'm not and they don't even get shopping around. And I had one sweet little lady that was about to get a leave and get a leave system and all she needed was like a settling. And it was about to pay way too much for her. And she was there 3-day cancellation period. And they still get her for $6,000 cancellation. Wow. It was, you know, 24 hours that the guy sued up her to sell out the paperwork. And my husband got so frustrated that and they didn't do it. So, you know, but that was very small case, like it's like sale and the new partner sure thankful when folks, you know, call me before they're ready for
So you got the grid tied systems, you got the battery backup systems that are still grid tied or the
yeah, I mean, a lot of folks call it a hybrid system. It's kind of, you know, two terms. And, you know, hybrid is definitely a fitting term because any of the battery backup systems we've ever done for almost 20 years now that are worth doing, they have the means to charge and generate. They have the means to stand alone off grid. The only time we start getting into weird warranty loopholes, we're going at this, that, was like a big X or, you know, with Generac, with Tesla, you know, all the big companies, startups, they got a bunch of like warranties, but they're also a lot of them trying to dish warranties a little bit harder than, you know, why do you think? That kid, good Freddy.
yes. Are you ready to come up ready for round two? Man, this is going to be a special order here for us. This is Six West Club Web Jane. I'm sure yours were probably gone
Years ago.
Yeah. This is one of the oldest, or the oldest, pick of Widow Jane. Probably a little bit more common.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's so big.
Yeah.
They asked what the WordPress was. I thought I'd definitely be well better served to say, hey, I first played.
Let's go ahead. Sweet. All right, we're done.
Yeah.
When you kill it, you gotta lay it over sideways. Great head. Thank Lynn and cheers. Thanks for jumping in. So
The battery backup world is very complex. Yeah, and yeah, hybrid, it's how they go for term this to be they. So what they're typically meaning when they say hybrid, and that it can use the grid, it can use the batteries, it can use solar, and yeah, like some cases it can use some gen, but there are a few that they call hybrid that define grid that you have their generating to read that. Yeah, there's some little gets in quantum, and most of we're just dipping Martin in some of these.
So you do a lot of service to a lot of existing solar data nodes. Then you do off-grid systems too.
Yeah.
Or what? So I want to go cleanupping, and I want to go out there and off-grid. You have systems that are specific to those.
I mean, well, for stuff like that, the little Patriot generators or the, Yeti or a handful of companies that have some pretty dang good products for that purpose.
Yeah.
And they definitely get it done their R&D and very competitive product. Most anything that we normally deal with is going to be more powerful and more heavy bigger and larger. I mean, gotcha. We have a trailer around that's stuck panels, baskets and everything on, but then filled ditch and fix it.
So we're talking about going to places that you're going to be at for, like the 2 or 3 or whatever on a site that doesn't provide electricity.
In main Texas, the people that want to be off the beaten path, they don't want to bulldoze trails out of company that only pay $80,000 with our made there. And in most cases, I get a lot of calls from most of that $10,000 or $20,000 cost. I back now. You want to do and I don't tell guys, let me have your side in with a grid tie and skip the batteries. It's the cost to get a grid. Drop the bucket. Yeah, the amount of invest in batteries,
especially if it's overhead, right?
Well, yeah, especially overhead, it's real cheap. But yeah, the biggest thing is in batteries because I've got one client who lives in Tennessee. He has an off-grid cabinet. He set it all up and had me come in and basically revamp the whole thing and retool all his energy because. And this is, we have been blessed that last employer to apply, so, and had some budgets and more scared to spend some dollars on the projects. And this guy was certainly a good example of that. But he had all electric, didn't belong to be worried about if or anything. And I get a lot of folks that are really stuck on that. And I tell them, hey, what to do it. But if you start thinking about a 100 amp electric heater and a 30 amp electric water heater, 40 amp oven, and that, it's just huge amp draws, and then you look at the annual kilowatt hour needs, look at how many batteries you have to have. You could bury 100,000 gallons worth of propane loads. I'm not about that, but at least close to 10,000. Right. For what you'd end up spending in extra batteries a year to be out of the gate, all electric. And the propane never go fat. Now, it's just easier to maintain the system that's not that fast.
Right.
But it's always seemed really silly to me that we, in most every case, whether it's nuclear or, whatever kind of generation we look at, we're normally cutting a theme of coal,
Right.
And if we do all of that work, make steam to create electricity, we send it all the way to our house, and then we short circuit again, trying to keep, it just, it's one of the wasteful things Americans do a lot of.
And I think a lot of people don't realize how generating some of these batteries is there's some bad things that happen slave labor wise with the battery generating.
Yeah.
And not only that, but there's a lot of bad things that happen to the earth. Just the mining that comes into that. There's just something to think about. I mean, it's one other layer to think about when you're thinking about batteries, you going into that. It's just the way you describe it, it's just you're not getting the bang for your buck unless you just want to do something simple.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're trying to keep a refrigerator going, freezer. Yes.
Yeah.
Something simple.
They're very valid purposes. But I'm glad you brought up about the instability of the slave labor and all that. That's one of the reasons that we buy from Harris Battery, which is that somebody in Iowa was talking about earlier. Their engineers actually got family from Africa, and he goes out there a couple times a year. They go check the lines where they're getting their stuff, and they build everything right here. Because anymore, I sold a whole lot of tree and panels for a long time out there in China and stuff. They're actually government owned. And when Trump did his last round of tariffs before he left office, he actually released one of the few times I've seen officials do this, very detailed report on why he felt we needed to tax these panels. Well, part of that report, they had the Uyghur slave labor camp and the tree manufacturing plant showing the right nitrogen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awful coincidental. Yeah. But yeah, I that's what I was like, okay, I'm going to be very careful with what am I. And I mean, oof, it's scary. You can't argue away from it. They control 80% of the market on silicon solar cells and, lithium. I think there's similar numbers, vast market shares. And that's really something I'll have to be willing to pay a little extra for, in my opinion. But, we still, and I'm normally sure to what I got a little bit cheaper battery option than pretty sure that went straight off the load, but it's a retailer. And they'll stand behind it. You can share, if you want to just do a 5 or 10 kilowatt hours, or we can help you go there. But we try and highly encourage folks, Solar, our inverter company, they make really good inverter, but I'm pretty sure they've actually had all their manufactured in China.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing all kinds of knockoffs.
Yeah.
And, but the customer service and the follow-up support, I can't tell you how many times that, we have one, assuming we sell maybe, I'd say 300 to 500 solar, and all of them, maybe 3 to 5 have been but they have been rated. But the latest one that just recently got resolved, I have my guys go out there work. I try to work at trade school and solve one, and problem we're always not act up over there. Or the group, if you look at it all like, well, it's Lord of flat. The guy didn't even make it back to the office and they give the air done, And of course, I thought every guy would go out there myself, and I don't know if I just have a dagger, a sticker on maybe that's all about, and goes, for not to, but they started, they were replicating the issue and showing this battery movement. It basically, one of the inverters was using a grid seat with float seat, and was like reversing that and freaking it all out, actually. So, but if you don't have access to quality tech support, how starts to be there. And that's the main thing that's missing with selling in.
Yes.
And then the ones that are super savage, like the really big things, that's so much gets 20 Zubo actually. But yeah, I don't really try and really weed through folks so they separate the matters of. If you're on a forever, the still waste your money in batteries, other means. The cost of kilowatt hours is up, but even if it's cycled in the full amount of the third power rate every day, would pay for itself, but it's also going to be worn out. So, it's that 10-year warranty. We can drain it every day for 10 years and it will end up paying for itself. If it's phasing your night, I mean, you get lucky, but also want to defer that bike. Well, or spike rip their own batteries.
Yeah.
But yeah, your best going to just wear it out, pay for itself. And then that gain there, a little peace of mind. But the other tragic thing of the folks that do that process is in many cases, the grid goes down at 2 in the morning, and you use your battery 80%, coming into the night, trying to save the bill. And now you're able to use it 3 in the morning because you didn't have RD.
Right.
And so we really try to make sure, what are your goals and products? If you're really worried about saving money, stupid batteries in the grid side. If you're worried about storm outages, so it's packaged in Generac. If you're worried about, booting it, fan, you need better solar and batteries.
Right.
Big question.
Yeah.
Or small expectations.
I had a briefing with your wife, Yvonne, and she was telling me that this topic, which we got a lot of comments, we got a lot of suggestions for questions, and I thought they were very good. But it's you got financial, and then you've got emotion in this realm, and so let's dig into it. You kind of touched into it a little bit. So you come to my house, and I'm interested in solar. I'm, kind of on the, I'm not looking at it and, immediately for the environment or anything like that. I want some benefits financially.
Yeah.
It'd be great if I could charge my iPhone and I could power my freezers and I'm not losing the heat or anything, but I'm not super scared that ERCOT's going to blow up or that I'm going to lose power. Rolling outages like they have in California or New York or whatever. I'm not super afraid of that because that's the emotional side of things.
Yeah.
So you have people that are like that need the solar the Generac, and the battery backup, right? But I'm counting it. So what are we talking about? So we take a look at my bill first, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of the key things that's different from most a lot of the big boys too is I don't have an already so
Right.
I don't want you sitting down with a salesman that's not intricately electrically skilled because you may have intricately detailed questions. A lot of them will BS way through it or put it off. So what we typically try to do is get your usage first before you come listen. It's not that I don't want to come in here and wait and listen on my solar, but we get probably 20 very calls a week that want me to come and sit and talk with them. I'd never be able to land a service from a business that I just drove everywhere and spend a handful of hours. So what we typically do would be to try and talk with you about your goals, and what's painted that picture to them. Now, obviously, that would like that power when the grid goes down, or really should I say money. And, we're going to look at your usage. And normally, just look at your usage, because I'm also a master certified rebuilder, certified realtor, and, I've got a wide set of skills that are all about energy and real estate. I could typically look at somebody's usage and go, oh, well, your gas heat, I can see. Well, their insulation looks like it's lacking. So what I would normally do is right out of the box, I'll shoot you a solar-only solution. And if you told me you want to save money, I'm going to push you between 50 and 75% of your annual in an offset of your current usage. But I'm also going to tell you, look, we run my phone guy out there and get phone bids.
Right.
And let me, see what we can do to package up what you're looking for yourself. But in many cases, we calls that are, all over Texas. The most of them are within 45 minutes to an hour and a half. So being able to do at least a remote initial bid where I could 3D show you the panels on your roof and show you the year usage bar graph you gave me and what I'm going to do to it and how much you're going to spend to do it, what you're going to get back from the year on that, and everything just, in black and white. You'd be surprised, especially, there are a lot of folks that I still do call them solar free and not really. Zero down is doable.
So can you break that down? So we've got certain. What's the typical usage? I mean, obviously that's a wide spectrum.
Right.
People work from home now, so there's a lot of different. So
What do you say typical? I would say 2,000 kilowatt hours
a month. Okay, so
Fairly typical.
so what panel system would you suggest for that? 10 kilowatt.
10 kilowatt hours. If we gave you fits really nicely in that, because basically we talked about it's going to be about 14 and change. So 14,000 and change kilowatt hours.
I'm using 24.
Right. So you're still buying 10.
Okay, mine 10.
So you're about 60, 50.
But how much am I paying per kilowatt hour for solar?
None. You're buying the plant.
Fair enough, but what I'm buying.
The levelized cost of energy all depends on how you want to define the levelized cost. Most people look at for 25 years, and that's the warranty on the panels.
Okay.
Our systems at our price, the levelized cost of energy is like 5.5, 6 cents scoring.
Okay.
But you're prepaying 25 years of it up front.
Right. Okay.
So, in most cases, what we try showing is what you spent last year, okay, and then what you will spend this year with our system. And part of why this now...
Because one thing I want to make sure that the viewers understand.
Yeah.
Because when I hear that initially, I go, wait a minute. You're charging me 5 cents for 25 years? But the thing is that I'm going to have electricity in 25 years. Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, whether you want to portray it as I'm having to pay for it for 25 years, which isn't the case. Most finance plans are if I'm paying for cash, yeah, it's done, right? I'm making an investment. But in this case, let's say my plan is 13.5 cents. I'm saving 8 cents on the 14,000 kilowatts that I'm using for the year, right? Does that sound right?
I mean, it's all about able to looking at it, and I may just got derailed by air track thought, but the way I would normally look at it, and it really ties into really getting a grasp on talking about your annual percentages too. So at 24,000, it's your 100% annual.
Yes.
And we're going to put in a 10 kW system.
Yes.
So we're going to make 14,000 change.
Yes.
Which we discussed was about 60% will go in the system. Okay. There might be a lot of missing ore in there.
Right.
With a 60% offset system, the vast majority of every energy that you create, you're going to be able to use, because you're not trying to make one sunny day make up for the two cloudy ones.
Right.
Okay? At 60%, you're still going to have some sales, but it's not huge. So when you sell power in the on-court network, you're not going to get the delivery charges. So even if you negotiate a dollar for dollar deal, which often comes with a higher per kilowatt hour price tag, you get them to agree to buy your energy.
Right.
So if you get a dollar for dollar deal, you're getting 70 cents on the dollar when you sell it. And that's why if you were a gunner, you'd say, look, I want the best investment that I can do with solar energy. My SMA inverter has diverse power outlets, so you get a free perk. You can plug in fridge, start your smartphone. The grid's down, the sun is shining. You've got some juice. Not running your AC, but you can do whatever you can for that one outlet. If you have a 10 kW system, you're going to have two inverters, or you get two batteries.
Right.
Each one with a single supply.
How many volts on those?
They're both 110.
Oh, okay, 110.
Yeah. You can get a 240 because they're very tree standing.
Got it.
But yeah, you have two 110 outlets. You do whatever you want to with no extra dollars included in that. So by staying at that 60% offset, you are safe that your energy is going to be worth as close to market possible. And we just agreed earlier, market rate, at you're 14, you're thrilled. Those were 16 or so by the time of paying TDU, all that.
Right.
So if I'm telling you that I could hook you up for 25 years for the levelized cost of 6 cents kilowatt hour, you're currently paying 18. The only catch is you either have to get a loan and then 10.99% interest, or I have to mark it up to get you the cheaper interest and make a lower payment.
Whereas if I make a commitment to TXU for 13.5%, or 13.5 cents for 5 years, I'm making a 25-year commitment for 5 cents.
Yeah, the only thing you're really committing is the upfront capital.
No, right,
Yeah.
right.
But yeah, the net result would work out to, you're basically committing to buying your energy for 5 cents a kilowatt hour for 25 years.
Gotcha.
If you remit it.
And you said you still have panels that are working, and you're not absolutely sure what the degradation is, other than the fact that the bills are close to the same, I'm assuming, or...
Well, like my office system, everything I sell, I typically anything in a lighthouse, relevance, or get a buddy deal somewhere, and you pick stuff out. 2009, I put 4,000 watts on my office building.
Okay.
Those same panels are still hooked up, and I went in and looked that inverter that's down. I did that. I still see 4,000 watts.
Oh wow!
The only real way to examine solar from a degradation standpoint is to have a tester that looks at the power of the sun at that exact moment and analyzes what solar's doing at that exact moment, at the same time. And we do have that kind of testing here, but you have to take the whole system offline, take it isolated, you get them on the roof, you be right there with them. And it's, if it's making 4,000 and it'll make 4,000 15 years ago, on typical feet. And I don't want to do the performance test unless there's more reason to think it's necessary. That was one of the other reasons why I really thought the panels would last forever, because literally one of the things I send folks when I do sample quotes, like if you were to just call me out of the blue, the first thing I'm typically going to do is try to get a little information about what your role is at the other. I'm going to shoot you this email. It's got sample grid tied and a sample off-grid ready system, a little one and a big one each, so you kind of see or have ballpark numbers you're looking at through what most people end up doing. But it also actually about your usage history, but it also shows you a study done on 1978 model ARCO solar panel, which is still in use today. In 2008 is when the study was done. It was 30 years old. They took it off the roof and put it all in the same tester I'm talking about that looks at everything. It was actually, at the time they tested it, making more power than the 6% shit. But by the time they got back to the lab, it adjusted for the temperature. It was a very cool, crisp day in California. And when it's cold, the panels perform better. So in adjusting for temperature coefficient, the panel was exactly where it was rated 30 years ago. So if there's no microscopic moops in the way they seal up the panel, if everything was done right, we have every reason to think you're going to have 30, 50, 60 years of reliable power coming out of that panel. There's no moving parts or left of the brain, unless obviously Mother Nature, but it's also tempered glass. And, You know, all people, oh, glass of hail. I put it out. I mean, I actually had a guy with, we were trying to break a sliding glass door, and I gave him this tool, and he went out to the sliding glass door in the dumpster and just, I mean, he beat with all he could, and couldn't get praise, tempered glass. And I walked out on the edge and stayed with a nice little pop and shattered. The edge and handles is wrapped motionless. And Madeline noticed detecting the delicate part, and the handle itself is a very strong tempered glass that is just hard to break. So, you know, we have every reason to believe that they should have said plus years. The manufacturer could be 25 years well there and look to a place that it fails. Obviously, they're not going to go that far if they don't pretty sure about that it's less longer than that.
Right. There's a company that you sell panels. So initially you sold panels from China, and then you transitioned to an American company. For that company's been around for a while.
Yeah, we've moved around a lot. Just, you know, trying to find the best performing product for our clients. You know, for a good while I was selling a lot of mission solar, and then I made it my mission to also research the companies out. You know, I mean, just because you're based in Texas doesn't mean you're an American company. And Mission Solar is actually all Korean actual. What that was, you know, they're starting slave labor chancellor on there, so I'm not too worried. But I kept looking. Right now, we've got a nice inventory of Solar for America panels. Solar for America panels are made right in California. They bought out a really big, nice plant from one of the big names that went out of business a couple years ago. But they're backed by a third-party company that is global. It's a really huge company. So we stock pretty heavily on their product because everybody's going into massive panels, which is really great. We'll segue that into, but like our panels right now are a 360 watt panel. That's the inside. Sorry, the Solar for America is 345 watt, but it's actually smaller than that 360 watt solar I'm talking about, and it's smaller than all the other panels that plus two guys are slinging. So when people talked about panel, the wattage is nowhere near as important as the efficiency. If you're really talking about how much energy I get off this roof. So most of the guys that are slinging these 400 or 500 watt panels, they're putting on a 295 watt microinverter. You don't have to be an electrician to conceptualize that 400 watts on use on this end, a 300 watt capable inverter on lead on the table a lot of the year. Sure. Now it's going to get to its peak production early, and there's, you know, it's not just asinine, to use the term, but it's still just not anything that I don't like that kind of thought. You want about 10, maybe 15%, but no more than 20% more DC power than your AC inverter because you don't ever get perfect stuff. It's just out there. But I'm sure a lot, you know, 30, 40, 50% of those, so you got to push a 500 watt panel and say 295 watt microinverter. So our Solar for America 345 watt panel is right at 20% efficient. The absolute best panels you can get on the market is like 22%, but you're paying more than double. Really, for you can just I mean, typically pay for the panel, I would charge for the whole system we saw, right, to give in the 22+% of drink. And so, you know, that's what we normally try to educate our customers on is, hey, you know, you want that best technology 3 years ago that now a good reason with price. You know, if you want to be that early innovator that was, you know, I'd love a special order some show. Sun Pro actually, I think, still claims and has the rank out of the large panel like 42.8% efficient. And nobody, I don't think, that's made a target with a 23 pluser yet. Right. But that efficiency really just ties to the square feet of area we need to make certain that. Yeah. So if you've got a really big roof, there's just no reason to pay. I've noticed for the, you know, the last couple of percentage points. And, you know, that's really what ties back into, you know, whether you track or not. You know, when your price per watt, right now, a good quality panel, if you go online and try and buy a high panel, it's going to be $1 a watt, mostly sold. And then shipping's going to really hurt. The shipper won't handle this hard to not get it there late. But so $1 a watt is, you know, kind of the going rate on a panel. Well, the tracking system itself, most all of them are either smaller scale, you know, you have a 12 panels on a tracking pole, right? Or they're just a single axis that is rotating a bigger piece. So most residential boat floats, ones I counted, are the big pole with just 12 of them so long. the cost of just a kit is about $2 a watt. So, my racking for a normal roof mount is about 15 cents a watt. So unless you're dealing with a very narrow window of solar, access, so you got a little courtyard and a condo,
Right.
then you're just going to be about on panels.
I got you.
And that's why, and we got one client that and he's been with the off-grid for 9 years now, we almost 10. But the first 3 or 4 years, somebody else did his original system. He went real drill it, got somebody else to do an add-on to it. Still wasn't happy. I think I was his 7th solar guy.
Okay.
And he's the middle of nowhere out by that.
Okay.
And, when we first got to him, his 2 trackers that never worked. They just manually pointed the course out. All the other just even up. So we get there first day out of the truck, and I go to the very top box where all of the sensors come down from the tractor should all the way loose, pull the cover off. He originally installed it, used silicone as a wire gland, and they make a gland that squeeze the wire apart, or they just brought it in on hail and after it, they go with full, dab it full of silicone. So this box was just full of water, and they already can't throw, and they're all shorted out with water.
Sure.
Bring that out, haven't had a use he needed on the truck, and just use it alone. That one tractor got working, in the scale and grab 20 minutes. Since then, I had to go 3 trips to fix another one because it was a little more tail in the different style tracker. And we had to go back and work on the trackers. And this once a year, all running work, it's not working right. One of it right now, we're probably not good at great. The motor is huge, and that's, the new goal. Every time I drive out there, it's working perfect.
So the cost overall of the tracker system is quite a bit more.
Your initial cost is so much more, and then the maintenance that goes with it. If you don't go out there and grease it or have somebody that knows how to fix it when it acts up, it's got to really work. And so, we try and design a system where if I got along and, had ridden the house, dies the next day, then the lay the house still doing it. It's hard and it's just really to worry about.
Gotcha.
And the ways we do that are by tuning the house in those days. Somebody has an off-grid desire. Most folks are off-grid. I mean, that's a lot of thought. I think I want to wear simple, don't want to have to be an electrician and not have to know these switches and manifold loads. So for most people, instead of giving them expensive automated load shedding, let's do a little load. Then you got 2 electric water heaters, that's $100 a month. And that's if they're basic water heaters if you drive a circle. I ran into one guy that had 2 80-gallon water heaters at circle phone. He thought he needed 25 gallons of lots of solar. He did his power bill. We did 2 solar thermal systems, and his bill dropped in half. I mean, it was literally half of his monthly expenditures. He had much kids at circle.
Thermal systems?
Solar's thermal 10 years ago was very valuable. Panels have got so cheap now that the only thermal jobs that I do are preppers. And even then, it's still work for preppers. The last couple of preppers we did didn't heat pump water heaters.
So they're solar panels that heat water?
Yeah, I mean, in essence, it's the most basic use of solar energy. We literally have a black radiator, if you will, on top of copper pipes and a glass enclosure, and we push water through it, and the sun heats it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But designing it right, where it rains back when the sun is not out, hate you not worry about freezing. Okay. So our systems are called a drain back system that are designed for our climate. But you're typically $8,000 to $12,000 depending on install parameters. So then you're back away.
It works like a water heater?
85% of the year you have free water, hot water, but it performs like a 60-gallon tank. If you are already living on a 60-gallon tank, we put in an 80-gallon solar thermal, you'll have a very similar experience. Yeah, 8 to 12 depending on install parameters. Because that sometimes the real challenge with the thermal is it's a bigger tank to begin with. So a lot of times there's lots of challenging plumbing and very tight workspace. But then we also have to give copper lines because pets can't handle the heat all the way to your roof, to the panels, and then read for a drain back tank because we want to have a drain back system. In fact, early on, solar thermal was all rage in California, and then in I would say 60 maybe, but they have bad freeze, and they were using direct heat. They literally had a tank, you've probably seen them in Hawaii or if you've been overseas, a big tank builder roof with a flat plate collector under it, no pumps or anything. the cold water dropped, but the hot water rose, and so it's taking it really damn hot.
Yeah.
But there was no way to protect it from freezing.
Right.
And so they had this freeze that busted all right. By that time, they were running gas lights, so everybody would gas.
Talk to us about selling. I'm going to get to the finale. I want to talk about like projections. I think that's important for folks to kind of understand, like when does my investment pay for itself? So we'll get to that in a second. But shoot, I forgot what I was at next. Dang. Yeah, no. Shoot.
Well, that might be the list that it's really good.
Yeah, man. Oh, talk to us about selling power back to the grid. We talked a little bit about, you said negotiating dollar to dollar.
Yeah.
You said that we would build a panel system that would generate 10 kilowatts, that would generate 14,000 of a year. I'm using 24, choose I'm buying 10, but certain times of the year, I would over-generate.
And it's not, that's where a lot of people get lost. It's not certain times of the year. With a properly designed system,
No.
the parameters we just painted,
Okay.
there would not be probably any month of the year you would overproduce the full up.
Okay.
Yeah, where the power company screws people is, all right, it's the middle of a pretty day. It's not too hot out. Your air conditioner cycles off and your solar is now making more than your house needs.
Okay.
So it's going to go to the grid. So that happening every day as your air conditioner cycles, it's pretty much if you had a 10 kW system, unless you've got ACs running, you're selling some juice.
Right.
But most old homes are so they leaky and always have a lethal air conditioner going. Yeah, so, it's not a matter of, now there is still catch-22s, because, you negotiate dollar per dollar, but like we talked about, they don't include dollar per kilowatt charge. So even if you get dollar per dollar, it really isn't. But then when if you sign up like Green Mountain Energy, their example, and they may have changed it, I hope they did, but they arbitrarily changed their policy about a year ago, where they do dollar for dollar, and that's been their shtick for all the time. Well, they threw a little asterisk in there that is you did have a surplus month. And if you have a 100% system, yes, you're going to have surplus months.
Sure.
Yeah. But if you have a surplus month, they keep the surplus and don't leak the action. They do dollar for dollar on it, but if you have an extra 500 or 1,000 or whatever at the end of the month, that's it. Yep.
Right.
And I thought that was rather fortunate. And that's been really the biggest challenge lately for solar. I think part of why, between interest rates going up and then a lot of the solar buyback folks are really giving harder to deal with. It's harder if you go to powertochoose.com or wherever. They don't have any of the green energy folks that will buy that. It's really been hard to find the companies that are doing it because there's just not that many.
Right.
And the ones you do find on the bigger websites don't have the best offerings. We found the best lately with Chariot Energy. And they do tend to pop up on some of the search engine stuff. But the another challenge is you can't even really get a firm commitment of a rate until you already have an interconnection agreement. You can't get an interconnection agreement until you have a full design and spin dock or solar PV system. And, so they make it where you're, as a consumer, you're at the mercy of your solar guy to really make sure you understand the solar nuances of what to expect on the market.
Yeah.
And not everybody's in luck for it. I mean, right, not too far from here, we were in Wood County co-op.
Right.
The first system I installed in Wood County co-op, the sweet little old lady in California, she wanted an 8 kW because she wanted to be net zero. I designed it for her, and I came back and sat down and explained to her the manufacturing process. And you got to the point where Wood County pays 2.3 cents per kilowatt hour. And anytime she sold it from here in the end, she got very unhappy. Almost didn't do it. So she ended up building a little 4 kW system and went and raised that with the board of directors. And we got them up to 4 cents. The last I heard, they're at 5.9. So yeah, there it is inching upwards, but not as fast as they're inching all the other things upwards.
Right.
But yeah, unfortunately, you really have to make sure that who you're dealing with knows the difference between Encore and the co-ops and knows the different co-ops because all the different co-ops have their rules. And I've actually had one client with a co-op, and she was all, kind of confused. She says, she actually started looking at solar from Facebook ad or whatever. They found that she was and the main reason a lot of them are there is with them will take a couple of rules, concourse, big enough market, I guess. And then I had some that got told on core rules, but they did a co-op, and I had to explain them. And that's not how it works for your ass already. So yeah, that's the buy and sell energy is a real key component as to why you're going to be in Seattle to stay money. I'm pushing hard to stay closer to 50 and 75%, especially if you're borrowing money to do it.
Yeah.
I get so many folks that, that want to do 100% and will fulfill goods. I mean, if you're dealing a zero that deal, honest, please sell it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to make the big sale, but you really should do that. Well, if you're borrowing the money, stay close. If you got the cap on and push it 60, 75,
There's no reason to sell that. Is what you're saying.
you're gonna have a
It's a miss.
Yeah, and it's not what they factor your interest rate at. They factor your payback.
Right.
We only show 6 on the best case. In most cases, 7, 8. In some cases, 9. But a lot of that depends on which, whether you're co-op, whether you're all sport, whether you're actually usage, all that part. But that's how many years we don't show payback. And yeah, if you have 100% system, I don't know if they'll be at least 1 year to that, but not suited. I am no way calculating. I mean, if you plan your dryer and your big loads around the sun, you might be able to trim that minimally. But yeah, to be 100%, you're gonna be selling there. If there's days to sell on it, even at 75%, you're still selling a pretty good clip. But it's not, And then what really made me super sensitive to that early on, probably one of my first big ground mounts, 2009, maybe 10, had a retired rocket scientist. Literally a guy that worked at NASA, worked up some full watch and couldn't dummy. But he saw elevators working on solar and prices be coming down, cash out 401k to buy solar at slip cut, which was not too far from our full box here. And he absolutely loved it for almost 10 years. About 2018, he called me one day, just battery or one day price that battery. So I priced that battery for $1 million. And gagged on back then. I told him this thing, if there's lithium now, if there's still a burden, but basically, our company changed rules, and they're constantly doing it. Whether you're in Encore, it's moving every day.
Yeah.
If you're in the co-ops, it moves at least once a year, and sometimes a couple of times. And the latest stuff that they're doing is definitely not going to be well received from consumers, but you have to get involved. As a co-op, they're the owner, and Encore you can shop around. But yeah, it's been that education is a big part of our process. And part of why I want to say I think just try to get you.
Yeah, sure. So what I think one misconception that I've heard is that if I get solar, that my house can be worth less, or that it's not gonna appreciate my house.
Right.
So what did you experience from that?
Well, I always like to share the true story that comes from in my perspective. From my perspective as a certified green realtor, the systems we install and the appraised value afterwards, you're in really rich shape. In most cases, you're getting after your 30% tax rebate, at least that much on your appraised value for what we install. Where the truth in that sentiment comes from is these door-to-door guys are typically twice my buys. If you pay twice as much for the system and then you buy twice as much as me, then you're selling it going to the hickey. And I've seen with 110 or 15% offsets, and you're gonna add load. You always buying gas, so you're gonna get a bunch of car in 2 years. Really, I'm going to do 140. I've literally seen that be the spiel and be ready to stack.
So what you're saying is I buy $20,000. We'll just use round numbers, $20,000 system, and I get a 30% rebate, right? So that's pretty healthy.
That
was $6,000 back, which me personally, I have to take care of that, right?
Yeah.
I'll do my taxes, I get the $6,000 back, and then I'm either paying it up front and paying myself back,
right?
Or I'm having, whenever I do financing, it's in the terms typically that the next year when I do my taxes, I make that lump sum payment, on 6,000, it's part of the finance terms, or otherwise they've got to refinance it for a different way. Right?
Hey,
Yeah, hey,
yeah.
So I just want to make sure that that's clear.
And that's where a lot of people get screwed too in these door-to-door guys. If you're looking for a paycheck,
Yeah.
and you find, the handful of jets, whatever,
Right.
you're going to hard time realizing that benefit.
But I'm sorry, what I was getting at was that when you quoted it like that, I asked about your house with me and work for.
Yeah.
And you said after the 30%, you've seen. And so if I invest in a $20,000 program or system, after the 30%, then I'm in 14,000.
Exactly.
And so my house is going to be worth more than 14,000 with my unit.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's what you've seen.
Yes.
Okay.
And the reality how that math works out, the government has a ratio for green and prudence.
Right.
And they may have adjusted it. I haven't studied it the last couple of months, but it used to be for the longest time, for every $50 in energy that I am saving you, that's worth $10,000 more on your house.
Oh, okay.
On far as your loan value. If you're doing a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, I loan that's literally how I got the loan when I built my house.
Right. Then I think the other thing that a lot of viewers would need to know is that it's super critical for them to understand that they have to enter in a contract where their system is transferring.
If they're financing it,
Correct.
yes, there's a lot of caveats. And the way financing works for most folks around here is it is a personal loan. There's not any collateral. There's not a lien on the house. And if you sell the house, it's up to you to either take proceeds from that sale, pay it out,
right.
or make the payments on your own house solar system.
Right.
That's the way they transition, because there got to be a whole lot of bad blood about having the lien on the house and transferable and lease, and it got really messy and really bad PR really quickly. So in our area, all I've seen people sell is basically signature loans, where you're literally, you got equity credit, you got to be able to sign your zero down with something that result of your mess. One client that I was talking about earlier that had a big system behind a shade tree, literally little chef, and they were trying to settle $70,000 solar on signature that was going to give him, but the shade and everything, to me, it was going to be financial. I'm sorry. And it really checks when people, set someone up for $200 to $300 extra a month out of their pocket with the mindset they're expecting to charge me $100 less than them out of their pocket. You know what I mean? I don't know how some of these. I'd like to just think that they're ignorant, that they just don't know that that's what's really happening. They think that they're doing a good thing because I went to some of them that just, they're not in the right place, and I'm happy, and especially broke, and they're still making payments even when they're broke. Right. I had one poor lady with a CPAP machine that the battery system went down, but people that she paying payments on the system, they wouldn't come fix it. But she's like, I gotta have somebody like, I can tell them that, I'm not really in. But come on. And so we got her, I was just, I didn't know when. She got one inverter out, for months long, and they're supposed to be working on that, but I just, very smart, they just hanging, click forward, $500 a month for a solar, and after they working, one of the other part went out, they have a good power back. Everybody else never had the power, but she did for the battery.
Do you anticipate prices going down, up, or is it going to stay the same for a while?
GE is about to come to market with a pretty exciting product, but it's, from a price point standpoint, everybody's really giving, the stuff that's really cheap and really appealing from a consumer level. It's just the specs are not there, And hey, granted, some of the latest stuff, the GE product, I haven't got to see the specs on it yet, but the latest thing they're doing is literally your meter can, breaker box, battery, your inverter, it's all in one box. About this little box on the side of the house, you got 4 meter can going in this one, and here, load management, battery storage, all in one, and but they're typically 10 or 20 kilowatt hours. What they're designed for, and most of them max at 30. And it's like, Giant max is at 30, Enphase max is I think 33. I think power walls you would stack 4 or 6 or 8 or something. They might be almost 1,200. But I've literally got one customer that has 308 kilowatt hours, and he's had for a year. And he's looking at his history. He's like, no, really been down here. Double this. Because you have an outage of the day, and the generator will saw that for one day. It's like, I remember when you ordered a day for it in the generator. Yeah, but sure. But that's the reality of it is, yeah, I mean, you need a lot of it. If you've got big energy appetite,
Yeah.
it's a big deal to have good batteries. Yeah.
Let's finish this one out. It's very good.
This one is definitely. I don't know. Well, it's amazing. It's not dare say, but the Wheel J have always had a special place in my heart.
Yeah, the guys did a great job. I wasn't part of this therapeutic. They did a great job. From what I understand, there were 2 barrels, and they wanted both of them. And so a fight ensued, not physical, but,
Right.
just kind of back and forth, and it lasted for a long time. And I want to say, I don't know if it got settled that night, the sample. And so then they went to Widow Jane to see if they could get 2 of them. And Widow Jane was like, "What the hell you're going to get?" So anyway, this is the one that won. I think we got it. I mean, there's a lot of clubs that drool into that thing.
Yeah.
That got me. But finish that up. We'll finish with, this is a project that I've worked on for a long time. It's a whiskey, honey finish whiskey. You've been on picks with me, right? Tumbling dice. And quite sure.
I showed up in the room of another one. I wasn't necessarily in the big
Right.
party. I was just,
You and your husky?
Archer.
Archer, that's right. And you and Yvonne love these unfinished projects that I do. So I want to walk through it just kind of piece by piece. I'm at the table. Let's paint the same picture so it makes it easy.
Yeah.
Of the 10-foot kilowatt, I'm using the 2000, just like we said before. And so I'm using 24 for the year.
Right.
They're selling me 14, right?
Yep.
And so that's going to cost me roughly 24 to 25, right? Roughly.
And that's for not financing it with low interest.
Let's just say I pay in cash. What does that get beneficial to me?
I mean,
pay your cash?
It is
with you.
It doesn't change typically my price as the insurer. I mean, obviously, friend deal, I'm sure we can connect with something, but I still got to pay for the same panels,
I don't know, right? But I'm saying just flat out.
How things perform for you, if you're borrowing the capital, there's cost of that. So
If I have it liquid, let's just say I have liquid,
that's going to be best.
and you're selling it to me for 25, okay? And you install it. So from
7,500 coming back off the sale.
that's where I want to dissect it. Okay? So in year 1, I'm gonna get 7,500 back,
Right.
from the government.
So your basis is now like 17.5.
So now my cost is 17.5,
Right.
spanned over 25 years, correct? Because you're looking at it from that purview, because that's what the warranty is for.
Yeah, but
Right.
the payback performance normally carries out 25 years. Sure, it's that good. I mean, yes.
Okay.
The 17,000. The way I would normally set to look at that would be to then look at, with factoring reasonable historically accurate inflation, how long is it going to take for my savings?
That's exactly where I'm going.
Yeah, to pay for itself. And
Let's go there.
Yeah. So basically, the way we calculate that, and that's one of the important parts about staying in that 50-60%
I
range.
don't disagree with you.
Yeah, so we know every kilowatt hour you sell is within a few is going to be at that market rate. You would have had to buy it market rate. You didn't have to buy it, so that's what it was worth.
Right.
That's what my performance is going to be based on.
Yeah.
So once we start looking at that, if I'm saving you about 1,200 kilowatt hours a month, which is kind of how that math works out, 11 is change, 1,200, I don't know whether they round up or go down, but anything the numbers round and easy.
Yep.
1,200 a month is the savings on your 2,000.
Yes.
Okay, so you're still buying 800.
Yes.
Okay, but we've already talked earlier, most people are paying 16, 18. Well, the math gets a little complicated there. I know a handful of them that if you have a solar plan, you're typically, right now, if you sign up with Chariot on the link I would send you, I think the rate was 18.6 or something cents.
That's what I would pay.
That's what you would pay for the 800 that you bought.
Okay.
They would give you the same rate for the 1200 you sold.
Okay.
Okay, so that 1200 is really worth that times 18.6. So, our brain's not quite that sharp, and that's 150.
Right.
So I just saved you $150 a month average with that solar system installation. It's going to go up as the electricity rates go up.
Right.
The value of that 150. So if you play that out with the five, like I said, historically accurate, on that 5.5% is what we see nationwide. It's going to take you between 6 to 8 years for you to have recouped every dollar you spent buying the system after tax.
Save it month to month.
Saving
Between the lack of use and the sellback. Right?
right between the lack of buying and
Well, yeah, lack of,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
said lack of use. I'm still using, but not lack of buying.
Yeah, you're just not buying or near as much. You're using the same.
Right.
You did a lot of it right off your own, or you bought your own power production system.
Right.
So your minimum.
But I pre-bought it. I pre-bought use.
Well, when you pay me, yeah, you will pre-buy it.
Right.
Yeah, and the levelized cost you were talking about earlier, that's why they look at 25 year, because that's the guarantee. So if we want to say, okay, what's your actual cost of energy look like? It's what you paid divided by 25 years. That's where we come in around that 6 or 7, sometimes 8 cents.
And that's why it's important that you invest in someone that you believe should still be business in 25 years.
I mean, it's certainly important to check out who you're buying with. And yeah, I mean, we've been in business almost 40-some years. We started at 82. I lost track of that.
But I mean, the materials and stuff like that, or where the warranty you buy.
Exactly. Well,
For service,
yes and no. I mean, what you got to bear in mind is the warranty for the manufacturer is useless. Can't get anybody there to prove that's the problem.
correct.
And so that's, one of the reasons that we really look at, the companies we work with. And then we've been certified with LOSO. Like obviously I work on the Generac stuff. A lot of them don't really have a certificate. You're an electrician, and you can work on their system. But they know what it is. Batteries are getting a room bigger. Tesla, I can't sell their batteries. They don't think they go on their school and they like the spec. So I'm going to go to their school so in battery.
What kind of service plan do you sell with these methods?
That's half the beauty. There's no service needed. So right. Then the panels wash themselves every time it rains. The batteries are not really serviceable unless they break. There's some things like the plate.
If I have the reverberant come down and you're free,
Yeah.
I give you a call, and then it just depends on what's going on. If I can tree, have you?
I've never had anybody have a blind inverter, and I'm from lightning strike.
Yeah.
Lightning active God, obviously. But yeah, no, the way we handle it, your inverters we're offering have a 10-year warranty.
Okay.
For 10 years, not only will they give us the inverter, they'll pay a decent chunk toward my labor to change it.
Nice.
So if you're not like an hour drive out, it's free 10 years.
Right.
Now, if you are over an hour drive out, if you're within the 5 years of the install, she'll last longer than that. I mean that.
Yeah.
A lot of these companies now are trying to push 10, 15, and 25-year labor warranties, but all the ones that are doing that are ones that have been in business for the last few years.
You're right.
The guys that have been in it 10, 20 years like me, that was the industry standard. Kind of like 3-year 36 parts. Then it was 5-year bumper labor, 10-year inverter, 25-year panel. That's been the pretty industry standard. And even in the panel now, most people don't get into the weeds. Okay, they'll have a 25-year warranty, but they don't all warranty the same level of production.
Yeah.
So like I've got Panasonic panels, that 360s I brought up earlier, they warranty like 88% of their original rated production 25 years out. Almost everybody else is only warranting 80% of their production. And some of them do a stair step where in the service parts are set, so they'll do a linear line where, but the testing involved in getting that done is not cheap or easy. And that's, really where that boils down to. If you get the right installer, they're going to make sure you get the right product. Some of the more challenging customers I end up winning that were lucky are the ones that, have an idea about what they think they want.
Right.
We get a lot of people, I'm into this. With that point, well, I'm completely all drinking the vomit. I mean, if you're just looking to say if you feel hours, and I have a few customers that haven't tested well, they weren't bad enough. They hired a guy in Dallas to come down with an it still sell all the shoulder stuff my way, and it does what they wanted to do, but they had no prepping goals. They were wanting to cycle their battery life. We used solar charger every day and live at zero, and it worked very well for that deal.
Yeah.
But it's really just, for most of my customers, deep down, whether they admit it at first, ask, they want it to work, more than just living goods up. I mean, the goods down from more than admit they want to know it out.
Other than power out, like power usage being fairly consistent, is there a perfect time to get solar, or is there? So I have a house that's a year old,
Yeah.
so I have a year's worth of data so maybe it's not necessarily super ideal, maybe it is, but what I know is that we spent a lot more in like insulation, making sure that we had our efficient built-in glass, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So if somebody has maybe a 7 to 10 year old house, you would address the immediate needs of the windows and insulation first, and then look at, okay, you're using this much. Does it really matter how old the house is? Does it matter how big it is?
I mean, you typically have to get into the 25 to 40 plus year old houses before it's like, okay, we really need to look for wicks, because most anything since the 80s is going to have double bay windows. Now, the double bay window in the 80s is not great, as the whole line double bay today, but a builder grade idle window is not that much better than the windows in the 80s. I mean, we're still better, but a window's a big gaping here if you will, no matter what we do to it.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, for most folks, most critical things have a year's use history.
Yeah. Okay.
If you've only got 2 or 3 months, and we're trying to speculate a 25-year commitment on your,
Especially the seasons we have.
yeah. And if you're, electric versus gas, I mean, it's really, really hard to predict where something's going to be because, personal temperature preferences. My wife's air thermostat at 68, 24/7 in my house.
Right.
And, that would be really brutal if it was.
Sure.
But yeah, the having a real tight air jumble up in the years of the use history, you're in a perfect spot. The best time I don't really suggest putting solar is when you're already dealing with the big things, because so many of the guys are twice my price. While I charge you that same rate to give you the value of that and bring things in wanted anyway.
Right.
Whether that's a generator or a remodel of the kitchen, it doesn't matter. But that's literally apparently not been an issue. I see the big guys literature, they'll offer similar stuff like that.
Yeah.
But maybe not quite.
I'll install your fucking if you spend a certain.
Yeah, whatever it is. But like on membrane structure, a lot of times we'll wire the house. I'll pretty go wire because the site electrician, the builder knows and let into it. But I run through the solar contract, get 30% off.
Right.
And in most cases, that's $40,000. That if it's right on what market price he is.
Sure.
But yeah, with the little crib stuff like that, we've seen 2 to 4 year solar paybacks. Yeah, because I mean, basically, if you were doing that same analogy we were just doing, you were looking at your house, we were doing that $25,000 deal, we were $75,000. Well, if I package $25,000 of those things you were able to do anyway, well, there's another $7,500 is coming off, so now you're at 10.
Right.
Well, I'm clipping it off at almost $3,000 a year.
Yeah.
Factor in inflation, I mean, yeah, you're 3.5 years.
It's a complicated topic. It really is. There's a lot of factors, and that's why I wanted to have you on, because I think you had a lot of the numbers enhancing. It's something that you have to weigh out in the future, because you're investing in the future, you're investing in the present, but you're also investing in something you're going to use anyway.
Yeah.
So you got to take a look at what you want to bet on. Pretty much, you bet on inflation, it's going to happen more than likely, and so if you can pay that back in a certain amount of time, and then if it pays you after that,
Right.
then it's on the surface it's easy to understand it if you understand economics and finances, but then it's okay. Well, can I make this commitment? How long am I going to be here? And all those types of things. There's a lot of things to consider. Any shout outs? Anybody you want to recognize? They're in the podcast. I'm through it.
Yeah. I mean, other than I wish my wife could have joined the shit to pop up.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got an amazing team. We've got 40-something folks up there.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we could definitely burn it. Well, minutes of the full on shout out. But we got some real dedicated guys, and ample ability to solve for your 10 to 20 years. Yeah, it's one of the main things I really, try and talk to my key players is really get rid of and, climb up the ladder my way down. So, start to, you really got to have that support structure to make it happen. You've got to have somebody that's the detail table. You got to have somebody that's the out of the box thing. You got to have somebody that's, not a good wolf numbers or good wolf aspect of that. And, that's been a lot of that.
And your daughters are in a business, huh?
Yeah. My youngest is in my division. That's been real exciting. It should get taken bug. And then my oldest is this Jeff Troy routine. She's been living Flesher stuff for a long time. And then my middle one is a realtor with her office in Jupiter, and Spud. And so it's been real exciting. Well, I'm second generation of Wright, so to see and Willer hope that they're maybe a third generation in there.
Right.
It's a nice thought. So we started in '82, so I increased that. I guess it was 40 last year, so 41. But just I've always had a passion to help people, and I really like service work. As much as obviously a connection sit at the flow and we're the household, but to just never really wanted to limit this best job that I like to get after my hands. So with solar, it's been a neat adventure, but I did differently with all the stuff I did previously. If I didn't know about, I'm making the HVAC certified, rebuilding or, all of this trades and things that I did before, but gave me that base of knowledge to be able to walk through a house and know that solar's not your one first step. And whether it's the heavy towards the knowledge, so if we know that, just want to say get solar anyway, but there's just, I quit doing installs for a lot of these, the door guys, and then send me out to do the site survey. And I pull up on this little house, 1921 church, no insulation, 5 1 units, one at each one bit, 10-gallon water heater servicing the whole dang house, all over it. And we were about to do an $8,000 thing, get into the solar system, packer and shit. And they're zeroed out. And so I never weren't good anymore yet. As I'm I listen to else. But I just wish there were ways that I could get the message out as effectively as the guys with the big marketing dollars who got to pop leader basically.
Well, we're not going to be able to get it out that much. Right. This is a segment you can share. You can share it on your page, and I've enjoyed the conversation. It's definitely been very typical, interesting, informative. I think it's a topic that needs to be talked about, because I think that the incentive has been kind of shaved a little bit more and more every year. I know when I was looking at it 5 years ago, the incentive was a little bit more.
They actually reinstated it.
So they reinstated
it. There wasn't any good things in the Build Back Better or the Reinvest America got big flood. Those ain't going to take 2 weeks and Biden put out.
Yeah.
They bumped it back to 30%.
Awesome.
And they probably should keep that. Obviously, if they give up the next election cycle, who knows? But they probably should keep that for 10 years.
Awesome.
And then there's actually some caveats. I looked at it. There's no way I ever envisioned lining up all the parts. But if you have some grab writing or if political your team, you can get up to 45% tax rebate. It has to be all American made, but it also has to be a community habitually underserved. And there's like 5 different criteria that all have to check to do it. So I've had a lot of folks ask me about, just you have you with the 30, or talk to your CPA or you think solar is complex?
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I enjoyed the conversation. It was a lot of good information. Thank you, Josh, for filling in. Really appreciate you stepping up. Missed you both. Wish you would have made this one. We've got a brewmaster coming on at our next episode. Should be a good one. It's a brewery that a lot of people don't really put on their map that they need to. Garrett's going to be on our next episode, and we're looking forward to having him on the next time. We appreciate you joining.